Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Beauty Topics podcast. I'm your host, Chantel, and I have another Louisiana girl on my couch today. I'm so excited. I have Miss Amy Lou here, and she's gorgeous. Okay, she's got the hair, the lashes, the eyebrows. She has the eyebrows of my dreams. It's fine. A little jealous sitting on this side, but I was so excited to meet you because, for one, I knew you were from Louisiana like me. So, you know, good food.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And you're used to seeing pretty people because I'm sorry, Louisiana girls are the cutest. I don't come for me. Come for me. I don't care. I think it's true.
I'm right there with you, girl.
But just you being in the beauty industry and a hairstylist, I'm like, I have to talk to her. And, you know, you came so highly recommended by so many people that I've spoken to. So I was like, well, let me get Amy Lou up on this couch and see what she's doing on a random, Wednesday. Okay, so tell me a little bit about you, Miss Amy Lou.
So I have been doing hair for going on 11 years now. Mm-hmm. I moved to Houston about 2.5 years ago. Okay. And it was kind of like the craziest thing I've ever done because I'm such a hometown girl. Mm-hmm. I love my people, my family. Mm-hmm. I had all my friends. I mean, I had clientele. So it was like really crazy for me to just like up and go.
What inspired you just to take the plunge and leave?
Well, my sister actually owns a local boutique back in Lake Charles. Mm-hmm.
What's the boutique? Shout it out.
Oh, Mimosa Boutique.
I love
Follow on Instagram.
Okay, I will do.
Yes, and so she actually wanted to expand into like the Houston area, and so she kind of got to looking, and she kind of decided on Katie. And my best friend and roommate at the time, we had been living together for years at this point. She was like, "I'm gonna go run it," and I was like, "Okay, well, what am I gonna do?"
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I was like, you know what? No husband, no kids. Let's get it. It's fun. Why not?
Hey,
if I don't go now, I never will.
Loose and fancy free.
That's
okay,
right.
girl. I know that's right.
Yeah. So that's how we got over here. And it was really tough at first. You know, when you leave your hometown, everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so fun. You're going to love it. And then I got here and I'm like, what am I doing? What did I just do? Like, I have no friends. I have no family. I have no clients. Like, what's going on? And so it definitely took quite a bit to get to be able to live comfortably, you know, even just be able to like afford my bills and, find.
You were starting from scratch with building a client base out here.
Starting over. Absolutely. Yeah. So it was definitely scary, but it's probably one of the best decisions I ever made for myself. For sure.
And I have to say, that's pretty damn brave.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up a military brat, so for me, moving all the time, it was nothing. But for some people, it's really hard. It's like, I grew up here, and then to take the leap and go somewhere else, you really have to, like, swallow your pride a little bit and, like, really be brave and put on your big girl panties and be like, okay.
Let's do it.
New city. Yes. Yeah, girl, because that's
and
a
I'm
big
the
change.
youngest, too.
Oh, you're the baby.
So I'm like, I ain't leaving. I ain't doing nothing. I'm good here. Like, I get tat-tat at home. We're good. So it was definitely scary, but it was an amazing decision.
Oh, the baby left. See, I'm middle child, so I have middle child syndrome. So I'm like, they didn't even notice I was gone.
Oh, for sure.
But why the journey to become a stylist? When did you know that was your path?
So I was probably in high school. And so I really just always thought it was like the coolest job. Like, I love doing other people's hair. I was definitely the girl in high school. My mom's knocking on the bathroom door. You better not be coloring hair in there,
staining
I'm
up
like,
the towels.
Don't worry about it. And so I was doing everybody's hair. I was doing it for homecoming, for football games, all the cheerleaders, braiding their hair and stuff like that. So it was kind of something I always like leaned into. And I loved doing my own hair. I just thought it was so fun. I loved to get all made up and stuff. So I feel like pretty early on, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Nice. Did you go through any type of training in high school, or did you go to cosmetology school after you graduated?
I went to cosmetology school. Yeah. So Louisiana's not really like Texas. I know like a lot of my like coworkers and friends that I work with, they did like the program in high school where they went ahead and started with their cosmetology license, but it wasn't like that. So I started off at college because, my mom made me. She wanted me to. And so I lasted about a semester. And then I was like,
I'm a creative.
going to do
this
hair.
Isn't my bag.
Yeah.
Because I think our parents sometimes worry that, that what we do is not a viable, source of income. They're like,
right.
You're going to do makeup and hair?
Yeah.
I sure am. Watch this, And then after the fact, now they're like, oh my God, I'm so proud. Like, look at my child. And I'm like, okay. But I think it makes them nervous at first because they immediately go to, you need to be a lawyer. You need to be a teacher. You need to be this, that. You need a stable, You
need a degree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need a stable, source of income. You need a degree. You need this, you need that. And some old school parents can get concerned about whether or not we'll be able to support ourselves as creatives.
Absolutely.
And I totally get that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they're our safety net. But, but that makes you, sometimes having that safety net makes you want to stray away even further and really like kick butt and be like, see, I didn't need it. I told you, we feel like we have something to prove. I feel like a lot of times creative people feel like we have something to prove because people think that it's just not, you just can't make it.
Right.
And I'm like, you totally can. If you put your all into it, you network, you market, you work your butt off, you can absolutely do it. Look at you.
Absolutely.
You left your clientele behind, came here and built a new clientele.
Yes.
How did you go about doing that?
So a lot of it, so when I started doing hair, it really wasn't any kind of like social media. We weren't posting our pictures. We weren't, there was no reels, there were no videos, none of that. I mean, you had Instagram, but you didn't really even have like a business page. So a lot of it was word of mouth when I was back home. So coming here, it was definitely something I had to learn. I had to learn, how to make a reel and how to post and what to post and when to post, So that was kind of like a whole different ball game for me because I had never really had to do that.
Girl, I feel like I need a whole class. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's overwhelming. And all the platforms, I'm like, Lord Jesus, there's not enough time in the day to be posting on all these places.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm like, so you mean to tell me I got to get somebody in my chair, I got to get to know them, I got to execute what they want on their hair perfectly, and then at the end of all that, I got to take pictures? It's a lot. So that was a whole different game for me that I had to learn, for sure.
Yeah. So what brought you to Vera Hair? And Katie.
So I started off, I use a certain color line. I use Goldwell, and I had for 10 years at this point. And so when I got here, I was really just like, you know what? I need to be in a commission salon. I don't know anyone. I'm going to need, walk-ins or just an overflow of clients. So I started off with a commission salon, and it was not the one. And so I moved to a different salon. A stylist owner of a salon had reached out to me, and so I was like, okay, so I moved to that salon. And then it just kind of came to a certain point where I feel like commission salons and, like bosses of all these salons, they aren't what they used to be. A lot of it is for the money. Let's get the people in here, and you have this amount of time, and you have to do this amount of service and all these things. And it was just like, I got to a certain point where I was just like, man, I don't even know if I like to do this anymore.
And their cut, some of these salons, the cut that they take is so big.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, I can't survive on this.
No.
Once they get their cut after you've done all this work, it's crazy. I have seen some wild things.
And then I'm charging these people all this money, and then it's like I'm still kind of struggling in my area of bills and money and all the things that I need. And so it was just like, it got to a certain point at this other salon where just like my mental health was just like not there. I was like, I've got to make a move. This is going to be the scariest thing I've ever done because I've never worked for myself. I've always worked in a commission salon. I'm big on like teamwork. I love inspiring people. I love people inspiring me. I love to pour into other hairdressers. I love people pouring into me.
So I have actually heard that about you, which is why you're on the couch.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So it was definitely scary. To go out on my own because I never had. I'm like, okay, what about when I got to buy color or I got to buy products or, I need to recommend the right products to my people, but they're not going to be able to buy it from me. And then, the tax thing. And so it was definitely just like a lot, but it was like, you know what? Now's the time.
Yes.
And so it really, when I got to Vera, it all kind of like lined up, it came to a head and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I had reached out to the mayoress, and I had no idea that if there was even a spot available. And she was like, yeah, there's one. Do you want to come by today and see it? And I was like, oh my God.
I'm doing this.
We're doing this. And so like I went in there and it was just like immediate, like, yes, this is what I need to be doing. This is where I belong for sure.
You walked in and you felt that sense of peace.
Absolutely.
And that sense of, okay, I'm at my home space.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I think that's what so many people are looking for, especially as a stylist, you know, and an entrepreneur. I feel like the ultimate goal is to work for yourself whenever possible, whenever you can make that happen, because you can set those hours and you can, I mean, you get out of it what you put into it. It's like, if I want to work 50 hours a week, this is what I'm going to be pulling in. If I need to pull back this week and only work 20 hours, this is what I'm going to do. It's like, it's what you make of it. And I love being able to have that type of control.
Absolutely.
How does it feel now, like being an entrepreneur, like in your space and seeing your clients come to see you?
It's kind of crazy. Like, I love it. I didn't really expect to love it this much. I think just at the end of the day too, I was like, well, this is still just a job, you know, like this is still how I make a living. And, you know, but I've come to really like enjoy it and to really like get to know the people who are sitting in my chair and get to know their story. I mean, Houston is such like, there's people from everywhere.
Oh, it's a melting pot for sure.
Oh my gosh. And so it's been so fun. I mean, even the girls I work with, like I'm one of 2 white girls, you know, like it's crazy.
I love how eclectic you guys' space is. It's phenomenal.
And so just getting to learn about different people and different cultures, like I've loved that part of the job so much. It's definitely a different clientele from Louisiana. And I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
So
it's fantastic. I love it because I love the space that you're in. I've met so many people that work there in your space, and those women are just, they are fantastic at what they do. And you can clearly tell when they speak about where they're at, their home space, they are so happy to be there and happy to go there every day and work with their clients.
Absolutely. And I think I say this so much, but it is the one place that I have worked where everyone is genuinely like rooting for each other.
Yep.
We are cheering each other on, and it's such a hard, like that's crazy to think about in a industry of women, you know?
Because people assume that every salon space is really catty and it's like they all want to scratch their eyes out in the break room.
Right.
And when you find a space that's the complete and total opposite, it's like, this is what it's about. This is the way that it's supposed to be.
We just really want each other to succeed.
I love it.
And it's amazing. I've never been around anything like that.
I mean, it's part of the reason I do this podcast because I love to see people win.
Yes.
I love to see people win. It makes me so happy. Just to see,
and it motivates me.
Right?
I'm like, let's get it. Let's win together. I'm in.
That's what I'm talking about. So tell me a little bit about the different services that you offer in your space now.
Okay, so I do cuts, colors. I really focus in on like lived in color, like balayage and any kind of like low maintenance, just lived in color is what I really have always had a passion for. I do keratins. I've recently just started doing extensions. So probably in the last like 6 months, which has been a bit more of a struggle than I thought, just because it is so tedious and I've never really done anything like that. But it's been exciting to learn all that brings.
Yeah, well, good for you adding on services. I'm here for it. And you do Brazilians now, right?
Yes.
Brazilian blowouts?
Yes.
I saw that was added on your service menu,
Absolutely.
too. I'm like, okay, girl.
Yes, ma'am.
I love it. So can you explain a little bit about what lived in color actually is?
So lived in color, I feel like is just kind of like, a lot of it is based on preference as well, you know? So it's like for those clients who want to come once a year, for those clients who want to come every 6 months. But then it's also too for the clients who want to come every 6 weeks, you know? So it's like, it's really however you prefer. It just, to me, it's when you have a lived in color is that you can go as long as you want to and your color's still going to look good.
Okay.
You're not going to see those roots. You're not going to have that line of demarcation. It's just going to naturally grow out beautifully.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all about the way that it grows out.
Absolutely.
And that root melt.
The longevity of it, for sure.
Okay. What's a consultation like when they sit down with you and I'm meeting you for the first time? Like, what are you asking me? What information do I need to be able to give you?
So I really like to know like how often you really are wanting to come get your hair done. I think that has a lot to do with like what our end goal is. You know, what are we wanting your hair to look like? How often are you wanting to come in? How blonde are you wanting to be? What have we had on your hair in the past? Is there, you know, is this an all over color? Is this box dye? You know, like what am I working with? And then I always do ask for pictures, you know, whether it's pictures of what they like or don't like, so that we can really get on the same page of what we want so that we can execute that perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you do any of those, like, I call them funky colors? Funky colors, the pinks, the blues, the greens.
I'm not too big into them. I mean, I have done them before. I think that's like such a skill for people to do. I think a lot of people are like, oh, let's just go pink. And it's like, well, there's a little bit more to that than just throwing pink on your hair, you know?
It's a whole process. It's a whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I haven't done too many, but I think they're fun. I think they're beautiful.
So are there specific brands that you just are really loving that you use over and over again in your space?
So I do love, so like my tried and true is Davines. I love Davines. I feel like, I'm a big like natural girly. If there's a problem with your hair, if you're having breakage, if you're having scalp irritation, if you're having, loss of hair and we're wondering why, I'm big on like the science of it all. I'm like, let's figure out what's going wrong, let's go to the root of all this. And so I feel like Davines really does a great job with that. It goes past just like, I want volume or I want this, I want smoothness. It really goes to the root of any kind of problem. It has such a just like a large like a big options, there's so many things that you can do with Davines. They have like a full like natural tech line that gets to the root of any kind of problem you might have going on, dandruff, hair loss, all the things. But then there's also like your fun products, your texture sprays, your hair sprays. And so I feel like it kind of just covers everything. So I love Davines. I also use a lot of Color Wow. I think they have really good styling products.
I love Dream Coat.
Absolutely.
I'm a Dream Coat fan. I'm a Style on Steroids fan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I just, I like the money mask too.
Yes.
I think it's really nice.
It makes everything so shiny.
Yeah. I really like that mask too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then I just saw that they came out with their curly line.
Yes.
So that's something that I'm interested, probably scooping up a few products for my girls because they wear their hair curly. Yeah, I'm here for that. Can you explain a little bit about the process of getting a Brazilian blowout?
So a Brazilian blowout is kind of for anyone and everyone. I think they can be modified and customized to anybody.
Okay.
So whether you have, finer hair and you just really want that smoothness, you don't want that frizz, we can customize it in a way that it's like, it's not going to be too heavy. Or on the opposite side of the scale, if your hair, you got a ton of hair and it's so frizzy and it's so kinky curly, and you just really want that smoothness there, you can use higher heat to go over that section of hair more. You can let it sit in there a little bit longer to kind of really marinate in there. So I love doing a Brazilian because I feel like it's very customizable to anybody who wants one.
Okay. Yeah. I dig that. So on those super hot and muggy days that we have down here in Texas, does it make your hair humidity like proof where you're not going to get that poof?
Absolutely.
To it? Okay.
Absolutely.
And then how long do the results typically last on a Brazilian?
Everyone's different. It just really kind of depends on how well you take care of it. I do always recommend the aftercare of the shampoo and conditioner.
Okay.
I have some people where it lasts, up to 6 weeks. And then I have some people who it lasts up to 6 months. Like I have a client now who every time she comes in, I'm like, I can't believe this is still in your hair. And it's been, I think, 8 months since we've done it. Wow. So, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about because I get to the nitty gritty sometimes now, tell me a little bit about your different customer experiences. How did you deal with a really difficult one? Have you ever had an instance where you're like, oh my goodness, maybe I have to let this client go. Maybe I'm not the right fit for this client.
Oh, for sure. And especially too, just because I wasn't settled when I first moved here, I've had people follow me from place to place, and that can kind of be difficult too because you've got to reach out to every single one of them. And so I've definitely had clients where I've just had to say, look, I don't think I'm the girl for you. I have enjoyed our time together and I wish you nothing but the best, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to give you what you want. And just in real honesty, there's no hate there. There's no nothing. It's just that I think you're wanting something that I'm not going to be able to provide for you.
And there is no shame in that of
Absolutely
saying this is
not.
maybe this is not my skill set. Maybe we're not the right fit for each other.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing, because people often ask me that, have you ever had to fire a client? And I'm like, well, it's all in the way you deal with people. Like, I can put a positive spin on damn near anything.
Absolutely.
It's just the way you handle it. But yeah, maybe I'm not the artist for you. Maybe I can refer you to someone else who might be a better fit for you. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, a lot of the times too, I can recommend them to someone inside the salon. It's like, okay, you want to go super duper blonde. You want to be blonde to the max, beat to the gods,
Platinum.
girl. Yes. So I'm like, I'm just not that girl for you, but her over here, she's a blonde specialist and she would do amazing. And so I can even sometimes recommend it to my peers and my coworkers, who, like I said, we are truly just rooting for each other's success, and we all have different specialties. So it's like, if I can't give you what you want, I can always recommend someone who can.
Gotcha. So when you were in cosmetology school, was there a specific, I know you're a color specialist, right? So when you were in cosmetology school, did you really focus on color specifically and kind of gear more towards that, in your education? Did you do additional education on the color side?
Yeah, I think it was so long ago. I think a lot in cosmetology school, I was just so young and I wanted to know everything, so I was like a little sponge. I soaked it all in. I had this one instructor who I'll never forget. Everybody was like, you're her favorite. I'm like, I think it's because I just want to know everything. And she's so willing to be there and to help. And so I really just feel like I wanted to soak everything up. I wanted to learn how to do everything. I do men's cuts too. And a lot of people don't know that, but it's just,
hello.
I know. And so it's just like, I love learning about any aspect of hair. Even if I can't execute it perfectly, I love that knowledge about it. So I think just when I was in hair school and I was younger, I wanted to know it all. So I learned it all kind of thing.
Did that teacher, she more like just a full-on like mentor to you?
Yeah, a little bit. She definitely helped get me like through school for sure. She moved away shortly after, so I didn't really, every once in a while we still keep contact, but she was just, you know how hair school is. There's a million people who come and go. There's people in there who say like, well, my mom wanted me to get a job, so they don't even love hair. They never really had an interest for it. They're just kind of there. And so I think when you find someone who's willing to like pour into you, you just soak all that up,
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. How, do you just like, for right now, for like continuing education and trying to stay on top of trends, do you just like kind of travel and do different classes, or do you go to different classes set up by certain brands that you love? How do you kind of continue learning and growing? Yeah,
so I think with Instagram too, it's amazing because we have education right in front of our face on our phone when we open our phone every day. But there are a lot of stylists that I look up to and that I love, and I love their style of work. And so I actually went to a class in Dallas a couple months ago, just like a color class by Carlos and Bragg and Beauty. And I loved it, like, I just feel like you're never too far into this industry to like stop learning, trends are constantly coming and going. And I think even too, if you don't learn anything, which I think is pretty hard to do. I think I take a little bit of something from everything, any kind of class I do. It's just inspiring. We get in those ruts behind the chair where it's just like, oh, here's another full highlight today, or here's this, and so I think it just kind of gives you a little bit of inspiration too when you're done with those classes. So.
What's some of your favorite techniques though? Are you a balayage girl?
I'm a balayage girl.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. I remember I don't even think I was in hair school yet. And I had the cutting board out in the kitchen and I had a bowl and a brush, and I was using that cutting board as like my balayage board, just like painting on people's hair. I'm like, I don't know who trusted me to do all these things, but I was doing it in the kitchen, girl. So, I have always loved, hand painting balayage. It's always been my favorite, my go-to. So,
wow. Can you give us some tips for keeping our balayages looking fresh?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think you need, it all kind of starts for me with a shampoo and conditioner. If you're not taking care of that, everything else is going to kind of fall apart. It doesn't matter what products you use or what else you're doing with your hair, how you're styling it, how you're blow drying. I think a good foundation is a good shampoo and conditioner. So I I usually use a clarifying like every other week on my hair. I also use, back to Color Wow, I use the Dream Filter. It gets any kind of those hard minerals out and keeps my blondes bright. It keeps that buildup off my hair. And so I think it all starts with the foundation of a good product, of a good shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah. Everybody says that it starts in the shampoo bowl.
Absolutely.
It always starts in the shampoo bowl because you got to break down the gook, the muck, the outside environmental, ish that's happened to the hair and all that good stuff. And just all the styling, styling, all the flat ironing and wrapping and oh my goodness. Do you recommend, is it better when you have colored hair to try to let it air dry or just try to use a hair dryer on low heat? Like what are some tips to kind of just prevent some of these split ends because we're doing so much. We're doing so much.
Absolutely. I am a big air dry girly. So I do have like naturally wavy hair. So if I can let it air dry, which most of the time I do, then I do that. And I always recommend to my clients, like, choose your heat. If you're going to blow dry it, maybe don't turn around and flat iron it, or if you're going to let it air dry, then use your heat with your hot tools to style it. I definitely think a good heat protectant.
Okay.
I think everybody needs to have some sort of heat protectant. There needs to be something on your hair that's keeping your hair from the heat, something to intervene. But
any specific heat protectants or blow dry sprays that you really like?
I really love the Kenra blow dry spray.
Me too. I have one sitting right up there.
It is one of my go-tos. That is what I like to use if I'm gonna like do a blowout. And then recently I have been playing with the Redken. I don't even know the name of it. The acidic gloss that they have. So it keeps that pH level of the hair right. It helps with any kind of damage or any kind of breakage. It helps rebuild that. So I've been playing with those a little bit lately. I got some last week. And so I've really been liking that in my own hair. And you can let that air dry in your hair too. Nice. I'm big on like a product that is diverse, like I love a product that I can use if I'm going to let my hair air dry, or I could put in there if I'm going to give myself a blowout. So I'm big on that. But I do think that a heat protectant is definitely required for everyone because we all use heat, you know?
Yeah. I had an amazing client yesterday. She's so cute. And she was doing, she needed to record some videos for work. And so I stopped by to do her makeup and her hair looked incredible. She was like, it looks so perfect. I just had a blowout. She's like, but when I do a blowout at home, when I blow dry my hair at home, she's like, it never looks this good. And you know that. And I'm like, oh, so I'm like, what are we doing wrong when we're trying to give ourselves a nice blowout at home? What are we messing up? Because when I'm the same way. When I go to the salon and get a blowout and come home, girl, I'm whipping my hair like I'm Beyonce.
Absolutely.
What are we doing wrong? Tell us.
So a lot of times too, I think everybody's hair is different, right? So I believe, and me and my sister, we were on the phone the other day talking about this, and she said, I did everything. I gave myself the blowout. I'm giving myself the curls. Like, why isn't it holding? And I think, too, a lot of times we overheat our hair. And once that happens, it's not doing anything for us, right? And so if you're going over the same section over and over again, it's really just it's done. It's done listening to you. You've overheated. It's just going to fall limp and have no volume. So I really think too, just getting that hair like 80% dry before you're going in with a round brush, or like even the blow dry brushes are so popular now. I love them. But just not hitting the same spots over and over again with that heat, because I feel like once you use too much heat on your hair, it's not going to give you what you want because you've overheated at this point. It's just going to now fall.
Shut down.
It's done.
I love that. She's like, no, that part's done. It has shut down. It has literally given you the hand. And this is what I'm going to do right now. Girl, I'm here for it. That's so funny. That's so true, though, because I do talk to my clients as well. I'm like, listen, you don't have to put every styling tool you own on the highest heat setting. I know your flat iron says it goes up to 450, but honey, you don't need a 450.
And they always think they do.
So I definitely preach that. I know, they're like, oh, no, I got to.
I'm like,
the first thing they want to do is push it all the way up to the max. And
Absolutely.
I'm like, look, we don't have to go to the max. A good old 350, is gonna do what you needed to do.
It's gonna get the job done. And I think a lot of people too would be surprised you turn that heat down and how much things are going to change for you.
Mm-hmm. And how much shinier it looks when you do that one pass. It looks so much better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't look crispy fried.
Yes.
But how do you feel about all these air wraps, the Dyson air wrap? And I have the shark. How do you feel about those?
I have like mad respect to the people who wake up and do that every day. Mm-hmm. Like I get on TikTok and I see the people and they are air wrapping and they are putting it in a roller set and all the things. And I'm like, girl, go ahead. Because it can't be me. I am not spending that much time.
The air wrap, though, it's so fast to me. It's like, whoop, 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 whoop.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
It's so quick.
I love them. I really do. I think it's a fun way to do hair. I feel like for so many years, we were just, we want the beachy waves and we want the middle part beachy waves. And so I think it's adds something fun to like hair, to let it be voluminous again,
Yes.
I feel like it's kind of changed the haircuts that I'm seeing as well. People want to customize their haircut to really to be able to use that tool. I'm seeing more layers, more choppiness, more, movement. When as before, I feel like everybody just wanted long hair.
Yeah.
Long hair, long layers. And I feel like that's what I did for so long. But with the air wraps and all the new things with the blowout style that you're seeing a lot, I feel like people are getting a little bit more adventurous with their haircuts. And I think that's fun because at the end of the day, it's hair. Yeah. It's supposed to be fun. And it's always going to grow back. Yeah. So that's been really fun to watch too.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it should fit your personality. It doesn't have to be, cookie cutter. No. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Do you do any pixies? Do you have any clients that have any pixies right now?
I do love a good pixie cut.
I feel like with the right cute, teeny tiny little Halle Berry face, I'm like, I just feel like if I had her little head, the pixie cut that I would have, but I have a pumpkin head. So it doesn't work for me. But man, I always say that like, if I had her pretty little head, I would get a pixie cut. I just think they are so sassy, and I just think there's just something sexy about a woman with a pixie cut. She just exudes like a certain amount of confidence to rock that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm so here for
it. And
you
have to have a really pretty face to have that short
girl
hair.
and the neck. Oh you have to have the neck to pull that off.
Absolutely. I think it's so fun. Yeah. I don't know if I could ever. My head's too big. But I love to do them. I really do. It's fun.
I love it. So tell me a little bit about how your social media has grown and like really impacted your business. Like you're doing TikTok, you do Facebook, you do Instagram. What do you feel like kind of gets you the most like business or clicks or likes? Where do you feel like is the most popular platform for you?
I feel like I stay on Instagram majority of the time because I feel like it's kind of a direct line to my clients as well. If they like something, they can send me the picture that was posted and we can have a conversation. That's where you can book your appointments with me is on Instagram. So it makes everything kind of easier. It's all in one place for me. I need to get out on TikTok. I need to get out there. It's so intimidating to me.
Me too.
I feel like I don't know. Too. And then I feel like I kind of have to share every aspect of my life. And I'm like, y'all don't, I go home and lay on the couch. Like, it's not that fun.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm at home with my Yorkies. I'm baking a chicken. Like, I don't know, like.
What do y'all want to see?
Making some sweet potatoes. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I'm like,
it's so intimidating.
Much easier for me just to snap a few pictures of a client and post it. And half the time I forget to do that because I'm so busy and I'm running to the next client.
Absolutely.
So I'm terrible at social media. I'm the first one to admit that. And whenever I see people that appear to be good at it, I always want to pick their brain. And I'm just like, how are you doing this?
Oh, no, right. I'm right there with you. So my roommate and best friend is actually like social media coordinator. Wow. So she knows like all the ins and outs of it. I got to get
her on the couch.
Oh my
She's got to break it down for me.
She should. She's amazing. So she knows all the tips and tricks. So anytime that I'm like stumped or I'm like, I just don't have any, like on our phones, we have a shared album of just like all my hair stuff that I send. And like anytime I'm like stumped on what to post or whatever, I'm like, can you make me a reel? Like, can you make me a post? And
You're so lucky.
She just whips it up right there. I'm like,
isn't that crazy?
I'm like, how'd you do that? I've been working on that for 3 days. Or like I send her something, I'm like, look what I made. And she like tweaks it a little bit to make it like even more amazing. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like it's such a crazy world, social media. And you really have to know what you're doing, I feel like. And of course there are some days where I'm like, I hadn't posted in a couple days. Let me throw up a picture, but people really like to see you on your social media, and it's so crazy because there's some days where I am not all the way dressed, like I'm like, I rolled out of bed and I put some mascara on to, make the other people feel pretty, but people really want to see you. And so I think that too helps a lot when you put a face, to the hair account that they're looking at every day. So it's a challenge. I'm right there with you. I think social media is super difficult. And like I said, I didn't like grow up in the era of hair where it was necessary.
Girl, I grew up pre-internet, so it's really hard for me. I'm looking at it like, oh, and even after all these years, I'm still like, I'm not ashamed to admit, like, I'm intimidated by it. Like, I don't post near as much as I should. I just sometimes it just escapes me because I'm already on to the next thing. I'm busy and I'm like, oh shoot, I should have posted I have so many pictures of so many clients like in both of my phones that I just have yet to.
Oh yeah.
I need to text your girl and be like, make me a reel. Because I just, even sometimes just thinking about it, I get exhausted or I get a little anxiety and I'm like, oh God, I need to post something.
Oh,
and
absolutely. There's so many times too, I let people walk out of the salon and I'm like, I didn't get their picture.
Girl,
and then I'm like laying in bed at night trying to fall asleep and I'm like, I really should have gotten a picture of her, or it's like I got the before and I didn't get the after.
I have done that so many times. I'll clip through my phone and be like, oh my gosh, I have 18 before pictures. And I have done that so many times. I'm almost ashamed of myself. Oh, yeah. Girl, I thought it was just me.
No, I'm right there with you.
Girl, come on in. It's crazy because there's so much going on. You're getting ready to take your next client. You're trying to clean up your space.
Absolutely.
And you forget to whip out the phone and have another photo shoot.
Absolutely.
It's
I mean, and
it's
it
so
adds an extra 10 to 15 minutes to the end of your appointments. There's sometimes too, I can kill someone's hair and I know I killed it and I loved it and they love it. And I get in front of that camera and I'm like, why isn't it photographing well? Or I get home later and I'm like, that's the after picture I got. And so I think it's intimidating and it does, like you said, it gives me a little bit of anxiety sometimes when I start to think about it. But a lot of times too, people aren't seeing those imperfections in our post. They're seeing like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. And we could pick 7 things from that post that we're like, no.
We'll be like, that one little piece of hair was out of place, or that little piece of hair fell from her bangs right across her eye. Dang it, I should have moved that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we will pick it apart.
People want to see it. So sometimes too, even if I don't love it enough for a real post, I'll throw it up there on a story. And you would be surprised the amount of times I've posted something and been like, oh, this isn't the best picture, but whatever. And someone messages me, I love this. I want this. So it's like, it just goes to prove that we all like different things. We all see pictures differently. But just to like put yourself out there with it for sure, because it's going to pay off. You never know who's going to absolutely love that style.
Yeah, that's so true. What are some of your like kind of future goals for your business, Miss Missy? Now that you've stepped into being an entrepreneur,
I know,
because now you can't go back. Could you imagine like trying to go somewhere and punch a clock now after?
No,
exactly,
absolutely not. And
I asked everybody that, and they're like, "Hell no,
no." I love it. So I've really always been pretty passionate about education. I really love like pouring into hairdressers, new hairdressers, baby hairdressers. I just think that's so fun when you can watch someone's confidence and their skill level just improve. And you get to see it firsthand. That happened to me when I was a baby stylist. I had 2 mentors, honestly, and best friends for 10 years. They're both 10 years older than me, but became just such my close friends. And they really taught me absolutely everything I know. They poured into me. They took the time to do it. It wasn't, catty, anything. I'm not sharing my formulas. I'm not doing this.
They weren't really gatekeeping. They were trying to help you along.
Absolutely. They just built me into an amazing stylist. And I love to do that to other stylists. I think life's too short and it's way too hard to just be so hard on everybody. I love teaching people and I love being able to share whatever I know and any education I have to people around me. So I really would love to get into some sort of education, whether if it's just like a class here and there or if it's with a brand, but just kind of to share my knowledge, because that's where I feel like you get the most reward in the job for sure. So I don't know. I think it could be fun.
I think you would be amazing at that.
Thank you.
Because I can clearly tell you are very passionate about helping others.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's because how I was raised in the hair industry. Someone helped me. Someone took that time to help me. And it's like,
Someone took you under their wing.
Yeah. And if they could do that, why shouldn't I do that to someone else?
Yeah. It's like, you almost feel like you want to pay it back. You want to pay back those good vibes and put that good karma back in the world that came to you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I love that. Get it, girl.
Okay.
But I could totally see you like running like a seminar or a class or doing like some specialty like hair trainings, you know what I mean, for different brands, like doing some balayage techniques. I could see it.
Yeah. I think
you hopped right up to the mic in here at first. Like you were nervous for half a second, and then all of a sudden you're like scooting right up to the mic, like, okay, I'm in it.
I know. I pretended to be nervous and I put these headphones on.
Exactly. I'm like, you could so do that.
I think it would be a lot of fun. I think I would really enjoy it. I think it would be really like rewarding.
Absolutely. Your parents must be so proud. How do your parents feel now seeing that you've jumped? The baby left. The baby moved to Texas. The baby's over there running her own space. What are their thoughts on your progress?
They really are so proud. I have the best parents. I have the best family. I'm one of 3 girls. So we're all really, really close.
Oh, you're so pretty. I bet your dad was sweating bullets. He's a Louisiana dad, so he had a lot of guns like my dad.
Man. That is a Cajun
my dad
man.
had all the guns too, girl. Keep waiting for my daughters.
No, but they are so proud, and they come visit all the time, and anytime I come home, it's, can you bring your scissors or can you bring your clippers? And, they are so proud. They love to come visit. So they'll come every couple months and stay a couple days with me, but they're so proud. I know they are.
I love that. And then your sister being a business owner.
Yes.
I mean, they raised some really entrepreneurial type of chicks.
My other sister's a pharmacist, so.
Oh, they raised some independent women.
They raised some successful women, that's for sure.
What does your mom do?
She worked, she's now retired, but she was a financial secretary for the elementary school we all went to. So she was very hands-on, PTO president, room mom, always there. Cheer captain, cheer sponsor. So she was always very hands-on. She did everything she could to give us the best,
I love that.
Yeah.
And that, her being so giving and doing all those things is where you get it from.
I guess so.
Yeah, you got that spirit of mama in there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because it's like you come in with this bright smile, these eyes, just like instantly embrace me at my door. It's like you have that, you've got your mama spirit in you, girl. She put that in you. Yeah, for sure. I could see it though. I mean, raising 3 boss chicks, that's not easy, but they did it. Way to go, mom and dad. Shout out to them. I love it. And so your sister, she has her boutique in Louisiana and she has her boutique here in Katy. Wow, good for her.
Yeah.
Like, where is it located at in Katy specifically?
So she also has 3 babies. Her oldest is 9 and she has twin girls who are 5. So it's actually not open anymore. It's just something that she couldn't be here to really run at this time in her life. But it was in Fulshire, and I think too with like how Fulshire's so up and coming and all the construction. I think in Houston it's all about where you're at and your circles.
Location.
Absolutely. So about a year or so ago, she went ahead and shut it down, but she still has the one in Lake Charles, and that's been open for 14, 15 years. So
get it, girl.
Yeah,
I love it.
She is such a little boss babe. Like
she's a powerhouse.
Oh my gosh.
Mother of 3, a set of twins.
Yeah. And
a set of twins and running a store.
Oh,
girl. Yeah. Okay. Shout out to her because I know it's hard. Like I had 2 in diapers. So I couldn't even imagine trying to run a boutique and having a set of twins and another. That's giving me anxiety just thinking about that.
No, I always say I don't know how she does it. I think she like thrives in the chaos. But I've always looked up to her so much.
Yeah.
She's someone who really taught me like, you can do anything you want to,
You sure can.
You just got to work hard.
You sure
can. You can do it. So,
and you had great mentors. You had people who took you under their wing and poured into you. You had an awesome mom who had your back. You know what I mean? You had your Cajun daddy who had his guns and had your back.
That's right. He's cooking gumbo for me, girl. Kept me fed.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That is amazing. Oh my gosh, Amy, I have loved having you on my couch, girl.
It's been so fun.
It's just so nice to talk to another country girl.
That's
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm so here for it.
We just get each other.
That's it. Like, we're Southern. And it's like, you moved from Louisiana to Texas. And I know that was like an adjustment, but it's like you were still in the South. So you still kind of got that hospitality.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Because there's so many of us here. There's so many transplants here.
Absolutely.
So I feel like that kind of that Southern goodness and kindness that we have in us when, you know, somebody moves in and we bring them a pie. You know, we have that here too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I want to shout out Vera Hair over there. I love those ladies, the whole space, the owner. Everybody's incredible. You're a part of that amazing team as an entrepreneur yourself. So shout out to all of them, Tanya and just everybody over there. Love them.
Love them.
So tell everybody your Instagram and your Facebook and all that good stuff.
So my Instagram is Amy Lou Does Hair. You can follow me there. You can message me any kind of questions. I'm pretty easy. I'm pretty quick on responding. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
That's right. And you can book her there too and shoot her a DM if you have any questions.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, Amy, thank you again, my darling. It was an absolute pleasure.
It was so much fun.
All right, you guys, that's it for this episode of the Beauty Topics podcast. And you can check it out wherever you get your podcasts, be it Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. So thank you so much. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.